Dez is amazing.
Good.
He's
So was Austin Blaske. So let's
he's
talk to
great.
him.
He's smelling good too from that practice. I'm telling you.
So you're 11 practices in here, and you've had, I guess you've been here about, what, 3.5 months or so?
Yes, sir.
So where are you as far as where you thought you might be or wanted to be at this stage, as far as where you're playing, the role you have as a leader, because we keep your name coming up as a leader?
Yeah, I'd say I'm definitely where I want to be as a leader and as a player. I brought that energy starting in the weight room. In the early winter, I went there and set the tone every day, and that's what I wanted to be. And on the field, I've really worked on coming back and playing center. I played tackle at Georgia, played a little bit of everything, but last season was mostly tackle. So I've really reined in on playing center and focused on that kind of during the weekends, getting snaps and working on more shorter sets than you do at tackle. So I'm pretty pleased with where I'm at right now.
As far as the leadership, you step in as the new guy, but you've been around, you played a lot of ball. How was that sort of transition? You mentioned the weight room initially, and how did the guys did it help that there was a lot of new guys too in there? I mean, just sort of that aspect of it.
It did, but I think the biggest part was building relationships with the guys, because they're not going to respect you if you don't have a positive relationship. I think that was the biggest thing that I had to work on, was building relationships with the O-line. To start with the O-line, then the offense and the team. So it's kind of a process to get all the guys to trust me. They kind of came around, and where I want to be in that aspect, as in the leadership aspect.
Was that trust and respect something that was somewhat automatic because of where you came from, or did you feel like you had something to prove because of the program you came from?
I think part of it was from where I came from, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted to earn it and show them that I can be a leader, not because of where I came from, but because of who I am. So that was a big thing for me to come in and just solidify who I am as a person, who I am as a leader.
Also, I remember when we talked to you, I guess it was January or February, and you said so many people when you were in the portal contacted you about playing tackle, and you were like, I'm not going to play tackle. Like, why did you want to go back to, or I guess you were a center at some point, right? Like, why did you want to be a center again? Like, what was that about for you?
To be honest, I like to be in there. I like to run the show. I like to be in the middle, kind of making all the points, calling out fronts. That's a big thing for me. I think I'm best at center. I've played center, guard, tackle, played all five at Georgia. I even played tight end at Georgia for a little bit.
Yeah, I remember you saying
So that was a big thing for me. I knew what position I was the best at, which I could excel at. I knew center was going to be a position.
And so you think center's best for you, and do you think that can take you to the next level too? Is that what the hope is?
Oh, yes, sir, for sure. Because you don't really see a lot of 6'5" centers with longer arms, and it's a lot of people like that because you can anchor really well. And you have longer arms to keep defense tackles away from you. I think that was a big thing for me, just because I know what my build and what position to fit best into.
Austin, if you had to characterize it for yourself, like what are some of the main differences offensively, of some of the stuff Georgia kind of likes to do, maybe their offensive identity compared to North Carolina's offensive identity?
Yeah, not a whole lot different. It's a lot of the same schemes and everything. I'd say we probably pass the ball a little bit more here, but Georgia's a lot of run the ball downhill stuff. We're we throw the ball a little bit more here. And I guess y'all just have to wait till the season to see the rest on it. So I ain't gonna spoil it right now.
Of course, you mentioned running downhill. Obviously, Marion Hampton having the season that he had last year. What have you been impressed by? Seeing him so far.
Well, first of all, I've been impressed in the weight room. That dude is strong. Probably the strongest running back I've ever seen. And we have some strong guys at Georgia, but he's probably the strongest I've ever seen, most explosive I've ever seen. Down the field, he brings it every day. He runs with his head down, he's not afraid to hit anybody on that field. So I really respect him because he just lays it all on the line while we're playing. That's all you can ask from a running back.
Willie Lampkin proudly discusses the chip he has on his shoulder because of his height and because of the automatic assumption that people have, and he was looked over some. From your perspective, you've got him, usually I guess to your left. What's it like playing with him, and how much of a bulldog is he, so to speak?
I love playing with Willie. In that room, I feel like a lot of people say that, I've seen a lot of things saying I'm the leader, but me and Willie are the leaders of that room. So don't get mistaken about that, because that's how that is. We're both leaders in that room. I love playing next to Willie. He comes with that chip on his shoulder every day. Comes to work. Just goes out there and balls out every day. That's all you can ask. He's 5'10", 290 pounds, but he plays like he's 6'8", 340. I love playing next to him. I can't wait to get the season started with him.
Speaking of 6'8", 340, the tackles. I mean, these are two guys who have not, neither one of them have ever started a game in college, but you know, it looks like you guys are going to be depending on them at those tackle spots. Like as a veteran who has seen a lot of college football, how would you assess where Howard and Trey are just in their development, and like, you know, how much further do they need to get to where they need to get to be competent tackles on this level?
For sure. Well, you know, Howard, they're way two different body types, Howard and Trey. They're both huge. But Howard's got long limbs, long skinny limbs, and he's still really strong. But, you know, he's developed really well. You know, he's still coming in his third year, so he's still pretty young. But, you know, the kid plays with a lot of fire. You know, you can't say that he doesn't play hard every day, in and out. And, you know, he comes with it every day. You know, he's been working with Coach Clem on his techniques and stuff, and, you know, he's getting better every day. I can see it. And his knowledge of the game is increasing so much, because, you know, it's a little bit difference between playing at UNT, coming to UNC. I mean, that's Group 5 to Power 5. Sure. So you have to see a lot more. You know, I've really been pleased with how much he's progressing. Trey Green has had a really good spring. You know, he's absolutely massive all the way around.
Is that what you mean by differences in body type?
I would say I think Trey's a little heavier.
Yeah.
But they're still huge. Trey's like massive. Like his arms are huge, legs are huge. Howard's got skinnier limbs, but it's like still super strong.
Yeah.
But Trey's like big and super strong. And he's had a great spring. You know, he's really up to his understanding of the game, I think, from the beginning of spring and now. He really understands, you know, his concepts really well, and linebacker location really well. And, you know, he's huge and he balls people. So I love that about him. And, you know, he's really had a great spring.
You guys good?
Yeah, real quick, just with Connor and with Max, how have you kind of seen those guys, you know, coming along throughout the spring, and just, you know, not only that, but, you know, kind of like the differences in working with each of those guys. I mean, even down to one's lefty, one's righty. Like, what's it kind of been like working with both of those guys?
So I'd say that one of the main differences I've seen is the under center snaps, because Max has his left hand up and Connor has his right hand up under center.
Right.
And I've never been with a left hand quarterback before, so that took me a few days to get used to, but it's not nothing. Just had to apply pressure at different spots, because, you know, this thumb to pressure is how it is under center. But it's been good. You know, they each have their what they're really good. You know, every time Connor's on my eye, we're probably going to do some play action, run around a little bit. And then, you know, when Max is in, we're just going to do, you know, we're going to do a lot of like drop back and throw it. But, you know, they both had really good spring. They both have been coming along well, and you know, they both developed as really great leaders. They're both in our leadership council. They speak very well. They lead the offense very well, and I'm very excited to play with either one of them this year.
Did you?
Yeah, let her go.
I wanted to ask about the nutrition department here and how it was like transferring schools and kind of navigating and finding the regimen that worked for you.
Yeah, for sure. So nutrition is big to me, especially because I'm type 1 diabetic, so I have to manage my blood sugar really well. And I had a really good research with Georgia with Miss Collier. Collier Madaleno, she was huge for me there. Does a great job with the players there and the nutrition. And then, you know, it was really important for me. Now I looked at schools for nutrition, say, hey, can they take care of, you know, what I need from diabetes? Mm-hmm. And, you know, Miss Amber and Izzy do a great job of that every day. You know, they want to experiment this weekend and see what, like, a certain thing does my blood sugar, so I have to try something Sunday, you know, because they always want to make it better for me, and, you know, make sure I'm always out there and able to play on the field. And not just that, make sure I'm feeling well to play, because, you know, there's sometimes I just got to push through it, and blood sugar will be high, but I got to play. So, you know, they've done an excellent job here, and I'm very thankful for them.
Yeah, I wanted to ask specifically about your relationship with Amber and how that's kind of helped your journey along.
You know, it's been awesome. We'll sit there every day, we'll eat breakfast or lunch or whatever. We'll sit there and just talk about new ideas we come up with to try to help my blood sugar. If it's like, you know, eat more protein, you eat something before I go to bed. You know, we'll kind of go ideas back and forth. You know, it's been a big part of, you know, making sure I'm able to stay on the field all the time. And she's been a huge help in that. And like I said, I've been very grateful for her, how much she's contributed to that.
Yeah. Is there anything specifically that she like introduced to you, any kind of food or drink?
I'd say you can. It's like a long-lasting carb or like sugar you can do. That's been a big thing for me, because blood sugar tends to go like down during games or in practice. If you're doing physical like exercise or whatever. So that's been huge. It keeps my blood sugar stable, and it's really been a big part of helping me.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Experimenting sounds a little interesting.
Yeah.
Adam, did you have one last one?
I was going to put him on the spot, so I guess I was going to say, is Connor ahead in the quarterback competition?
We're good.
So,
Thanks, Austin.
Thank you.